Today, we're going to look at the world through a hacker's eyes. We're going to see how they find and exploit the hidden flaws in the websites you probably use every single day. And just so you know, this isn't about random guessing. It's a hunt, a methodical one, and we're going to show you exactly how it works.
So, here's the big question. How do you find a crack in a digital fortress? Well, it's not about just throwing everything you've got at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's all about strategy. It's about looking at a system in a way its creators never intended. And that's exactly where this thing called penetration testing comes in. You can think of it as ethical hacking. It's where you get permission to hack your own stuff. The whole point isn't to cause damage. It's to find the holes in your own defenses before the real attackers do. All right, so let's jump in. We're about to walk through the exact process a good penetration tester and ethical hacker uses to find and take advantage of some of the most common weaknesses out there.
Forget what you've seen in the movies with all the chaotic, frantic typing. Real hacking is way more structured. Professionals, whether they're the good guys or the bad guys, they follow a kind of map of known weaknesses and well-worn attack patterns.
So what is this map I'm talking about? Well, for web applications, there's a kind of industry-standard field guide. It's a catalog of the most dangerous and common security risks that everyone in the field knows about. It's called the OWASP Top 10. OWASP stands for the Open Web Application Security Project, which is a mouthful, I know. But basically, this group collects data from all over the world and puts together a list of the absolute most critical security risks. For any hacker, this list is basically their Bible. As you can see, this list covers a lot of ground. Everything from broken access controls to something called cryptographic failures. But for our little mission today, we're going to zoom in on two of the absolute classics. Number 3 on the list, injection attacks, and number 7, cross-site scripting, which everyone just calls XSS. Okay, first up, the database. This is the treasure chest. It's where all the good stuff is kept. Usernames, passwords, all that personal info. Our goal, to trick the application into just handing over the keys to that chest. The attack we're going to use is a famous one called SQL injection. The best way to think about it is like this. Imagine you're at a library and you fill out a slip to request a book. But what if, instead of writing a book title, you wrote a little secret note on the slip that told the librarian, hey, give me the master key to the restricted section. That's pretty much what we're about to do. So here's how it goes down. You've got your standard login form, right? It's just sitting there expecting a username. But our hacker, instead of a username, types in a very special, malicious little piece of text. This text is designed to literally break the command that gets sent to the database. It corrupts it in a way that makes the logic always come back as true. And just like that, the database is fooled into thinking the login is valid, no password necessary. Okay, this is where the real magic happens. Look at that injected query. All the hacker did was type admin, followed by a single quote and 2 little dashes. That's it. The single quote ends the username field in the code. And then those 2 dashes? That's a comment in the database language. It basically tells the database to just ignore everything that comes after it on that line. So that whole part of the code that checks your password, poof, gone. It's completely ignored. The database now only asks one question. Is there a user named admin? The answer is yes, and boom, you're in. And just like that, the front door is wide open. The authentication is completely bypassed. The digital fortress wasn't taken down with some massive assault, but with a tiny, clever whisper that just told the database to open its gates.
And here's the jackpot. The hacker can now just pull the entire user table out of the database. Now you'll see the passwords are hashed, they're scrambled. But once they're stolen, a hacker can work on cracking them offline. And this is the really scary part. One tiny, tiny flaw in one little input box can lead to the whole system being completely compromised.
All right, let's move on to our second attack. Now, this one's a little different. It's more insidious. It doesn't go after the server's data right away. Instead, it actually turns a trusted website into a weapon against its own users. This is called cross-site scripting, or as I mentioned, XSS. And yeah, it's called XSS to make sure nobody confuses it with CSS, which is used for website styling. Now, unlike the SQL injection that attacked the server, XSS goes after the user's browser by tricking a website you trust into feeding you malicious code. So where would you see this in the wild? A super common place is a comments section. A normal person just leaves a comment, right? Great article. But our hacker leaves a comment that has a little snippet of JavaScript code hidden inside it.
If the website isn't careful, if it doesn't clean up that input, it will just save that malicious script and bake it right into the web page.
And here is the betrayal. The next person who comes along and loads that page, their browser sees the script, thinks, oh, this must be from this website I trust, and it just runs the code. Now, the classic example is to make a little alert box pop up. That itself is harmless, but it's the proof of the problem. A real attacker could use that exact same trick to steal your login cookies, send you to a fake website, or even track what you type.
So, our ethical hacker found two really big vulnerabilities. Mission accomplished, right? Well, no. In fact, you could argue the most important part of the entire job is just getting started.
See, for a penetration tester, breaking in is just the proof. The real product, the thing that actually has value, is the report they write at the end. This is the document that details everything they found, explains how bad it is, and gives concrete steps on how to fix it. It's the roadmap to actually making the system secure.
And a good report doesn't just list problems. It organizes them by risk. That SQL injection that lets an attacker log in as anyone, that's obviously a high-risk find. It's the keys to the kingdom. The XSS is probably medium. It's still dangerous, but it needs another user to come along to work. This kind of rating system is crucial because it helps the organization figure out what they absolutely have to fix right now.
Look, we've just walked through a couple of simulated attacks, and it might feel a little bit academic, but it is so important to understand that this is not just some theoretical exercise.
These are not hypothetical numbers. This chart is from a real-world assessment. 9 high-severity findings, 14 medium. Vulnerabilities exactly like the ones we just walked through are being found in real, live systems every single day.
So here's the most important takeaway from all this. Every time you hear about one of those massive data breaches in the news, chances are it started with an exploit just like one of these. A single input field that wasn't checked properly. A single moment where a developer trusted user input they shouldn't have. That's all it takes. So I'll leave you with this final thought. When you trust a website with your password, you hope you're handing them a key to a very secure vault. But if they haven't done their homework, if they haven't tried to think like a hacker, you might actually be handing them a confession.